All right, so in this video, what I'm going to be doing next is I'm going to configure a certificate authority on Active Directory. It's going to be a PKI certificate instructor. PKI is a public key infrastructure, and it will be done in our domain controller. Let's log into our domain controller quickly. So we can start doing this because we're gonna need a certificate authority to manage certain things that will be done in this environment for development purposes. So we'll be using SCCM. Is a management console, which is the configuration manager, which is on this server to work with the domain controller. So we will need certificates in order to make some of these functions work. Because we're going to do a cloud gateway app, and those need certificates. So we're going to make a local certificate authority. So we go to server manager and then add features and roles. Then next, hit next, and it'll ask us what type of role and features are we looking for. And then this right here is just pointing at which type of service we're looking for. Let's figure it out. Let's find Active Directory certificate service. I'm gonna add that feature. Let's see, nothing else to be checked on this. And let's click next. 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 Certificate authority. That's what we need. We'll keep that one checked. And then we'll hit next. And right now what's left is when I hit install, after we have everything we need. Remote server administration tool, role admin tools, certificate service tools. And then let's install it. It might take some time. All right. And then right here, let's hit configure. So we have our administrator. Then on that, we'll click next, role and services. First option, click, and then everything is checked. We'll hit next. We'll leave it at enterprise certificate authority must be a domain member and are typically online certificate issues. That is great. And then let's keep moving. Next. Create a new private key. Use the existing private key. No, I don't have one. So we create a new one. Let's click next. Leave it at SHA-256. Next, and over here we have our machine. Salvguard DCA local, and then preview distinguished name. It all seems to be fine. I'd like to change that name, but I'll do this later so I'll have more clarity, and we'll keep it at the same. So go for the next 5 years since enough, but for what we're doing now, click next. Let's specify the database location. It's okay. Let's say next, and then let's hit configure. Yep, configuration succeeded. Close, and then close. So now we have certificate authority that we can use to issue certificates. And then let's go and check on our certificate authority. Administrative tools, you can find it right down here, unless we have to restart the system. But no, it's over here. So it came up. We got templates over here. We got our certificates, and we have it going. Let me see what's next. We'll end up probably configuring an insert. So next we're gonna create a web server certificate. This certificate template will be used for any server that holds one of our HTTP-oriented SCCM role. If there is a server that it's management point, distribution point, or software update point, all these actually use IIS as the mechanism for transferring your information to other machines or to clients. To set this to HTTPS and use authentication, we will need a web server certificate template and a web server certificate on any of those machines. This certificate is a basic certificate that does not allow for exports of its private keys. So let's get to configure this. So templates, let's see what we can do right here. Properties, no. We're going to duplicate this template. All task, submit a request, stop service, renew CA. We'll do manage. And then let's run our web servers. Duplicate certificate. All right, and from here, we need to configure our server, but our certificate. But quickly, I'll give you another small briefing on this. So the web server with the private key certificate, we also need this for the template that do support the export of the private key. So when we're later creating a cloud-based distribution point that exists in Microsoft Azure, the mechanism will import in that certificate. It's done actually through the user process inside of a web page. We need to have certain kind of certificate that's also included the private key. For the reason we need to have this web server certificate that does allow to export private keys. Pretty self-explanatory, and and then we can just go through the web certificate with private key certificate on a workstation. This certificate will automatically enroll on any desktop that is joined to our Active Directory domain. Anyone that is going to be on SCCM client will get a workstation authentication certificate, and this will be done using group policies. That will show you, I will show you how to configure it in my next video. So this does not support the export or private keys. So literally, I just went through 3 type of servers, web servers. So one that will have imported private key, and another web server certificate that will allow to not import it because it's going to feed the clients. And then we need workstation that will be managed through the cloud interface for this. All right, and with that said, the web certificate with a private key certificate, workstation authentication with private key, those are the ones that we'll be creating. But I'm gonna cut this video a little shorter so it doesn't go too far. On the next one, this was the configuration of the certificate authority, and we'll get to the next one where we're creating the certificates. Thank you.